The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 19 introduced Walker variants, or I should say reintroduced them to some extent. So spoilers are ahead. If you have not watched the episode, you have been warned. So again, Episode 19 of Season 11 of The Walking Dead reintroduced variant walkers. Now, I did not know how crazy they would go with this when they first introduced a variant walker, but as of right now, it seems in line with what we saw in Season 1 and to a lesser extent in Season 2. So in Episode 19, we have Jerry, Aaron, Lydia, and Elijah out on the road. They find a place to hold up for the evening, and they think everything's all peachy, but obviously it isn't. A herd kind of comes out of nowhere, and the herd is led by a variant walker. This variant walker is able to climb, jiggle door handles, possibly even open them, and pick up a rock. These are all things we saw in Season 1 of The Walking Dead. We saw walkers pick up rocks, we saw walkers climb, and we saw walkers jiggle door handles, but not fully open a door as far as I remember in Season 1 of The Walking Dead. So everything we saw in this episode seems to be in line with already what's canon in the show. Now, I know World Beyond showed a different type of variant, one that was a lot faster, but I'm not really going to touch on that right now because until we see it in the mainline show, it just can kind of stay over in Europe for all I care right now. I'm really glad they didn't overdo this because I have a whole video talking about that mutated zombies or variant zombies can really detract from the show. And I know walkers were different in Season 1 and again to a lesser extent in Season 2, but that was just more Darabont doing a different thing and them trying to figure out what the show was going to be, because the vast majority of The Walking Dead, the walkers are what we know walkers to be, right? Very mindless, you can distract them, and the list goes on and on. So to reintroduce a variant and or a smarter type of walker, it could be looked at as a pretty big risk. I have a feeling we're going to see more of them before the end of the show, but again, I hope it's very similar to what we've already seen. I don't want to see a variant walker be able to hold a gun or a knife or anything. I hope it keeps very simple intelligence, like being able to climb, grabbing a rock, being able to grab like Lydia's staff a little bit, to kind of defend itself, but not really. I mean, it wasn't smart enough to grab a knife out of its shoulder. So as long as they keep it in that realm, I'm okay with it, because yes, they're a little bit harder to deal with, but they are still defeatable. They're not, World War Z zombies or something like that, right? So as long as they just kind of keep the variant walkers to what we've already seen before, that works for me. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. They're just kind of reintroducing them. Again, it's a very odd time to do that because we have 4 or 5 episodes left of the show, but I digress there. They decided to do that because I think we have to infer that the spin-off shows are going to incorporate a lot more variant type of walkers, ones we saw already in the mainline show and maybe even what we saw in World Beyond, especially with Daryl's show, him going to Europe. He's going to definitely probably see runners or whatever you want to call them, stronger type of walkers that move a bit quicker. I'm not personally a fan of that, but if they're going that direction, just keep it in Europe. Don't bring it to the mainline show or the United States within the Walking Dead universe. It would just be too odd to see at this point. But seeing a walker that can kind of defend itself, climb, grab a rock, I'm okay with it. I will accept it for what it is. Mainly due to the fact that we saw it in Season 1. I can accept seeing it here. But again, it's just kind of odd that we didn't see it for many, many seasons in between these two, right? But I wouldn't be shocked in the Maggie and Negan show. We see various type of variants that can, grab rocks, climb, etc. And then I would also imagine we're going to see similar types in the Rick and Michonne show because, again, why would they reintroduce them here and not do that for those spinoffs also? And another thing too, I think they want to reintroduce walkers as being a main threat within the show and universe itself. The best way to do that, I guess, is to show that walkers can mutate in a way or be variants, where there are some that you actually have to make sure that they don't get close to walls because they can climb them, or they can kind of be a ringleader for the more mindless ones and they can kind of get them all bunched up. So I would imagine we're going to see a few more variant walkers before the show ends. I know in the Season 11C trailer, we see Ezekiel kind of like running and he's yelling at everyone, fall back, fall back. I would imagine we're going to see, a handful of variant walkers climbing over the fence at Commonwealth. Again, I hope it's not overdone. I hope it's done gracefully, and I hope they're smart about it, but my money's on that we're gonna see that before the show ends. I do think Commonwealth will be attacked by a herd of walkers, probably led by a handful of variant walkers, or at least one. But we finally saw variant walkers reintroduced in the show. I thought the episode was pretty solid as a whole. I wish they kind of would have showed them clearing out the rest of the walkers after they handled the variant walker, because they just jumped right to the next morning. I thought that was a little disappointing. What are you gonna do? I guess we've seen them clear out walkers plenty of times, but they kind of built it up as like, oh man, it's a threat again, and then for them to just skip to the morning, I don't know, just a odd stylistic choice in my opinion, but whatever, what are you gonna do? So I think that about wraps up this video. Variant walkers are back in The Walking Dead, and I guess they're here to stay, question mark. I would imagine so. I think they're building up to these things being a bigger thing within the mainline show and in the Walking Dead universe as a whole. So with that said, what are your thoughts on variant walkers in The Walking Dead? Did you like the introduction, or I should say reintroduction, to variant walkers? Let me know down in the comment section below, and while you're down there, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be greatly appreciated. Until next time guys, everyone have a great day. Thanks for watching.